I would say Demeter is one of, if not the worst god in the game.
D tier. Who do we place first and second on D tier?
They could make an F tier for Demeter, to be honest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What's going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology retold action. Well, today, this is going to be my final Age of Mythology video until I'm back from Japan. So enjoy. Oh, we're on the play fast speed. Let's get out. Oh, no, that's definitely on me. I want to come to 1%. That's much better, isn't it? Look at that beautiful scroll speed. All right. This is gonna be my last video until I go on holidays. So unfortunately, there's not gonna be any after this one for until I'm back. But when I do get back, we will be continuing with our sort of one video a day policy. I'm also small announcement. Most people might who have any interest might already know. I do have another video coming. Not another video, another channel coming. It's going to be getting posted on much less than this channel, but my first sort of mission, so to speak, is to create a handful of Age of Empires 2 videos. And then we're also going to be doing some Age of Empires 4 after that, and then I will be doing some StarCraft 2 and some Age of Empires, not Age of Empires, StarCraft 2, and maybe some Warcraft 3, depending on how it's all going by the end of that. But yeah, that's going to be one part of the content creation, and of course, some Age of Mythology. We're going to be doing shoutcasts, we're going to be doing guides, we're going to be doing introduction series and all that other good stuff. So don't you guys worry, we've got lots of Age of Mythology coming for you. But let's introduce these players, and I want to start a narrative here today. We've got on this right-hand corner of the map, playing as Demeter. His name is Kvothe. He is the current best player in Age of Mythology. He is better than the rest, and he has proved it on the grand stage multiple times now. He is legitimately, there's not another player who can claim that this title. The Mister has retired, so to speak. I don't know if he's going to play any other games casually for Age of Mythology, but I don't know if we're going to see him anymore. I just don't know. He might play. Don't know. The Rapple has 1 win, so he would probably be considered the second behind Kvothe, but Kvothe is without a doubt the best player currently playing. So we're going to check out his Demeter gameplay, and I want to start a narrative around this whole Demeter god and what the top players are going with, and we're going to see if we can start to unlock exactly how this god is supposed to be played. He's playing up against one of the strongest ISIS players on the ladder at the moment. This is fellow Australian Ben QVH. I say one of the strongest ISIS players on the ladder because he is actively engaging in the ISIS god. He's playing a lot of this god, and he's also playing what I would consider to be one of the best in slot ISIS openings. Now, a lot of other ISIS players do this casually, and we saw a couple of players actually attempt it in the tournament and completely butcher it. The idea here is that we want to be advancing around about 4 minutes into the game with a prosperity. We're going to grab Flood of the Nile while we advance. Ben, unfortunately, forgetting this one here. But you want to grab that Flood of the Nile as you advance, and it's going to allow you to literally just walk forward and grab a aggressive town center, whichever one you want. Because you advance so fast, because you're ISIS, because you've got the excess gold in the bank to get a couple of priests and things like that, you're good to go with that situation. As we do see Ben actually dropping a barracks here as well, just in case. He's going to have a little bit of gold there if he needs to get a couple of spearmen out, no problems. And of course, missing this is super unfortunate, but there he goes with the Flood of the Nile now. This would net him enough food income such that he would be able to build 1 or 2 spearmen if need be to get himself his town center. So this is really, really smart from Ben, as he's now going to walk over here. And he does get to this position a little bit late. I think that this is a reactionary type decision, as we're going to talk about Kvothe very, very shortly, as he is up to no good. But this is a reactionary town center here, as Kvothe also donates 3 goats over to Ben's side here. Reactionary Town Center with the late advance from Kavoth and a little bit of scouting going on. He hasn't really seen a whole lot. Kavoth could realistically be massing cavalry and be charging forward to really make Ben's life very, very tough here. Now Ben does have himself Plague of Serpents and he should have 2 priests, so he should be fine. However, let's completely ignore what Ben is doing now and focus in on what Kavoth's doing. As he's got his base set up, he actually grabbed this technology, Pan's Pioneers, which I think completely enables a lot of what makes Demeter function at the moment. And I think this is a really important technology. If you're not grabbing this one, you're not playing with this, you better have a really good reason for it. And we can talk about maybe that a little bit later. But on the bottom side of the map here, we actually see a village center here from Kavoth. Now, I love the village center idea for Demeter. However, what is the point of it? The point of it is that we can make a town center that can start boosting our economy quickly without needing to walk. So if it's the case here that Kavoth really wanted to come over here and eat these elephants, say, which I'm going to go into why I don't think this is that important, but if it's the case that he wanted to come over here and grab these elephant, he does not need to have a village center here. He could put the village center in his main base and just walk over here onto this position and be arguably completely fine so long as he's got himself his double heroes here, or he can use Arcadian Meadow to make his villages very, very safe on this position. So he's got all the options to be on that spot if he wants to. Now, let me unlock why Demeter should not care about going for second hunt. Like that, those 3 elephants in the bottom corner do not matter. You can grab them later, it's fine, right? The reason why Demeter should not care about those elephants is because of 2 reasons. Number 1, Demeter gets extra goats when she advances. So she needs the goats so that she can take advantage of her god bonus to get faster favor income, which is also incredibly important. We can talk about that a little bit later. But one villager going to go down over here. Nice find from old mate Ben, as good micro from Kavoth, as to be expected. We get goats when we advance, which means these initial goats that we find, we actually don't care about. The only time in which we really want to put a hefty amount of villagers on favor is going to be from the heroic age onwards. Don't actually care about favor that much in the classical age. So eating our goats is completely fine. And then on top of this, another reason, as we see a little bit of engagements over here from Kavoth, the other thing that you really don't need to care about is the fact that building farms is so cheap. So if I build one farm as a regular civ, okay, let's just say a Zeus, that farm is going to take 75 seconds to pay itself off. Now, if I build a farm, as we see the serpents coming down over here, if I build a farm as Demeter, it's going to take around about 30 seconds to pay off, which is a significant reduction in time. Now, on top of that, the reason why I say we probably don't need to wander over onto this position to eat these elephants, at least not at the start of the game, is 1, it's dangerous, and 2, how long do you think it takes to walk over to this town center? How long do you think it takes to get onto the elephant, to kill the elephant, to start actually gathering food? The answer is quite a while. And the fact of the matter is that walking time is basically going to cancel out the farm cost. So we don't actually, in the early game here, we don't actually need to be looking to go on to hunt. I don't think it's important. Just put farms up. Just eat your goats. Now, on top of this, if we take a quick look at the Lakawan over here, when you have yourself husbandry, all of a sudden, the Lakawan is gathering at 1.38 food per second. This is insane. And it's also the same case on the chickens as well. So any Lakawan you have should be, and it's also good for safety too, but any Lakawan you have should be on goats in the classical age. So they're not going to get poked and get turned into a village, into werewolves, though it's not the end of the world if they do, and you're good to go. So Lakawan on herdables, on chickens, village center in the main base, and don't feel bad about building farms. That's what I think is the primary strength for Demeter in the classical age. Now, you guys ask me, okay, so you're basically turtling, right, with Demeter? The answer is obviously yes. Now, let's say I was playing against all of these spearmen here, and I had a village center right here next to this. I had this all walled in. What do these spearmen, what are they going to be able to do? The answer is nothing. They can't attack me. I can garrison into my village center if need be with one of my heroes. I can defend off with the other hero while the town centers are doing damage, and I can block. And yeah, I'm not going to take any damage from a handful of spearmen coming through. So I can go straight to the heroic age. So this heroic age actually from Kvothe is relatively well timed. It's not like he's fallen super far behind, and this is credit to Kvothe's insane skill. But he is also going for another village center. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say I don't like this village center for obvious reasons. It costs a lot of resources. Yes, it builds faster, so that's cutting down the cost a little bit. However, simply grabbing this town center over here would net him 2 Lycaon, which basically pays off the town center, which brings me back to the Pan's Pioneers situation, right? Which basically says, I want to go Pan over Ares, pretty much every single time, I'd say, unless you want to go offbeat with Demeter, which is fine. You can go offbeat with Demeter, but Pan over Ares, because of Pan's Pioneers, because it allows us to effectively get ourselves a near free town center. The Lycaon is 80 wood, 100 gold, 150 favor. Not 150 favor, 115 favor, or 150 resources. So one Lycaon here is costing something like 330 resources, give or take. 330. How much does a town center cost? 700 resources. I get 2. So we're basically paying off the town center in terms of the Lycaon we get for free. So grabbing a town center, the only negative to it, and there are negatives, so I want to talk about why Kvothe's decisions here maybe aren't the best, but the only negative to this is that we're going to start building some, we're going to have to start building some extra villages out. So let's talk about now why this decision here from Kvothe to go village center and town center isn't the best. Well, the main reason is the only thing we're concerned about here against ISIS is actually surviving on 2TC and with gold mines. Those are the main goals here against ISIS. If Demeter is 2TC and has gold mines secured, now we can start pushing and we can start getting ourselves our next 3rd town center and actually converting a win. Even if ISIS gets to 4 town centers on Demeter's 2, it actually doesn't matter because I guarantee you I'm actually going to be able to push back and win a game. So if the ISIS player wants to sit back and just let the Demeter do its thing, you're going to find yourself losing a talent center and actually losing the game. But right now, even after all of this, Kvothe here, he's actually not in a terrible spot. The only issue is his gold income and the fact that he dropped this town center instead of putting a fortress up, and he probably should have been on this gold mine here with a fortress instead, or over here with a fortress instead in the middle, basically anywhere other than this position here, and he would be very much okay. Now, on top of this, Kvothe is going for a very quick faded arrows. I like this play because of all of the spearmen. Your opponent is teched into spearmen, so teching into Toxotes does make sense. And basically here, this is where Demeter, even after everything, and I think that potentially here, Kvothe has made some mistakes, Ben has made some mistakes, and we're in this game state of Kvothe actually being in front here, without question he is in front. The actual thing is, when you are in a good position as Demeter, your main goal is to use this favor to make these guys. We need at least 4 Hammer Dryads in our army at all times. The reason is, if we take a look, is they do 150 pierce, 40 divine in a 20 damage area. And this is before getting the technology right here, which does which increases the range attack damage by 30%. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Now, on top of that, the secret to this unit, and Kavoth unfortunately not 100% aware of it, the secret to this unit is this down the bottom left, this special ability, the stand ground stance. If you're not using stand ground on your Hammer Dryads, you are not understanding the strength of the Hammer Dryad. In fact, the big fact about this unit is inside of an actual fight, as we do see the minions coming down. This is actually one thing here that the Demeter is amazing at. When you combine the Orpheus and the Toxotes, or even just any range units, myth units are absolute garbage. They don't do anything. And we see a whole bunch of villagers going down. Nice amount of damage here. Good job from Kavoth. Kills all that. He is in an overwhelmingly advantageous position here as the siege towers are going to charge in onto this spot. And this Hammer Dryad should convert here into a tree. We can also talk about this other part as the... no, see, he's got it on the wrong thing and it's going to automatically start attacking. And he's going to miss out on a whole bunch of damage there. So right now, Kavoth, he's got no reason to go to the Mythic Age. And this is probably going to be something that it's going to feel unnatural with... it's going to feel unnatural to not want to go to the Mythic Age. But there is no reason to go there until we're fully secured with our position. Once we're fully secured with our position, great. Now let's go Mythic Age. Before we're secured, don't go Mythic Age because that's where you're going to lose the game. As you can see here, Kavoth says, let's go Hera. And he hasn't secured this gold mine. He loses this position. He hasn't secured this town center. So he's going to get to the Mythic Age, but he's going to have lost a lot of the map. And he has to rebuild the units, and he's going to have to deal with a whole bunch of siege towers. Now we did have the communal hearth, but that's gone now. So he's lost a lot of ability to just defend off these sorts of attacks. On top of that, no Hammer Dryads coming in, so he's missing out on literally the strongest part of this god, which is the Hammer Dryad. And I'm going to keep saying it's the Hammer Dryad until I turn blue in the face. So Ben doing a fantastic job here of punishing this Mythic Age, attacking, taking down these buildings, putting pressure over here. He just needs to basically take all of his units and actually apply pressure down here. He should also walk forward and put a Migdol here. He should walk forward and put a Migdol here. And he should walk forward and put a Migdol here and not have let this fortress come up. But obviously you can't be everywhere at once. And Kavoth is a fantastic player at finding defensive resources. So he's going to actually extend this game quite a while with his cheeky shenanigans over onto this side. Going for the main base. Unfortunately here for Ben is actually the incorrect decision. You don't have to care about that base. Just cleaning this up, cleaning this up, cleaning this up does basically get a nice position set up for him. But okay, now we talk about the late game. So once you get to the Mythic Age here with Demeter, unfortunately, I'm not sure Kavoth is going to be able to quite manage this as he doesn't have any fortresses up. He's got two actually, excuse me. He's got two fortresses, so maybe he can. The late game army composition you actually want to aim towards is Lord Midas. Here's your anti-siege unit right now. I'll show you the stats of this guy. I'm going to give you all the secrets because I don't care. Lord Midas is your anti-siege unit. Apparently he's doing 16 pierce damage. There's no way that's accurate. Hopefully we get to see him here. I think he does some sort of divine damage, right? So he's going to be able to take out enemy siege. On top of that, you're going to have 4-ish, if not more, Hammer Dryads. And the rest of your army comp is basically going to be Toxotes, Peltast, Amazon Archer, and Heliopolis. Right? We don't actually need anything else. The reason why we don't need anything else is because if our opponent goes for any type of land army, like not land army, melee army to try and kill off our Archer Ball, say in this case elephant or camel rider or spearman. Spearman don't make any sense, but elephant or camel rider. The Hammer Dryads that we've got, the 4 Hammer Dryads, will be sitting inside of our Archer Ball, and they will be able to explode and do enough damage to any type of mass cavalry unit that our archers are going to be able to kill them off by themselves. Especially with the help of Lord Midas, especially with the help of the Heliopoli to sit in there and tank and all that other good stuff. So Kvothe is building up to this kind of archer ball, but he's missing the hammer dryad. Now, it might be fine if your opponent is just going to go for mass chariot archers, for example, against this sort of a comp. You're fine against that. Hammer dryads don't do anything against archers, but the archers can't beat a fully upgraded archer ball of Demeter. So there's that. I'm still waiting to see Lord Midas, but unfortunately he's not coming out. Anyways, the other unit here that is obviously always going to be fine to build is any amount of high pierce armor unit to chuck into your army. Hippias, basically it, but yeah, Heliopolis are the unit that makes the most sense for me. As over onto this side, Ben now putting up his Migdol. He's a little bit slow on this, but this is absolutely the correct move. And I think Ben's in a good spot. Ben's in a great spot, but Kvothe is also fine. He's going to get this town center up. And I think he is actually, I mean, if he does decide to go into the correct unit comp here for the late game, I'm not sure what, oh, there's the meteor. I'm not sure what Ben's going to actually be able to do to win in this position. So even after all of the things I've said, which have potentially sent Kvothe down the wrong route here, he's still perfectly fine and reasonable in this spot. As the meteor comes down, he loses this position, but he does not need to be here anymore. Pull back, regroup, and then push back in and grab this town center, and he should be okay. He's still got gold mine here, he's still got gold mine here, and he's still got the potential to start a trade route. I wouldn't go too heavy on the trade route unless you're running out of gold mines. Because if you've got the gold and you've got the trade route, now we've overcooked it on population. One thing that happens with Demeter, and I don't know if we've got, I think Kvothe actually deleted them. You've got those, there they are. You've got Lakawan in your economy. So that's already hurting your economy a bit once you get to 100 villages. And, this is obvious, but once you get to 100 villages, you've got to make sure that the Lakawan are out of your army as fast as possible. It is a waste of population to have them. They aren't gathering fast enough on herdables to make it worth it. So just take them out, put them in your army, and fight. It's fine. They're really strong fighters. So that will get you some little bit of extra value by fighting with them once you get to that 100 pop. Okay, so now Kvothe here in a very, I still think he's arguably in a fine spot. He's got his heavy Amazon archers. These things are incredibly powerful. He's still trying to grab this gold mine. I don't actually think this is super important. He should be focusing on just getting himself to population, getting himself he does have gracious hospitality, getting himself fortified town centers. So gracious hospitality is this technology here, which gives you 10 population extra per town center when you apply 2 farms to them. I still haven't seen my guy. I haven't seen my guy Lord Midas here, unfortunately. I think this unit does take a little bit of getting used to, because the natural inclination is to say, oh, I've got myself a hero. Here's counter myth units. My opponent isn't building myth unit. I should probably not build him. But in actuality, Lord Midas is a must build unit, but he's only a must build unit to deal with siege. He's an anti-siege unit, in my opinion, because of how high his DPS is and how tanky he is. So he's going to be able to take those out very, very quickly. Nonetheless, Kvothe will be struggling for gold here, and I think this is mainly where he's actually going to end up losing this game. Is on the gold situation. So Ben's doing a fantastic job of getting himself the town center, securing all these middle gold mines, and he's going to have to start actually putting pressure. I do have an inkling here that even at, what would it be if I get an extra 20 pop, even at 230 pop here, because with Ben at 250 pop, if we're at 230 pop as Demeter against 270 pop, which I think you go to with 4 town centers as ISIS, or does it go up to 280? I can't remember. You go 280 pop. So you can get 230 pop here as Demeter on 2TC. ISIS is still going to have more pop than you. So it's actually not, we're still actually losing here if we find ourselves in a 2 town center versus 4 town center situation. But So long as we don't have a trade route and our opponent... So long as we don't have a trade route, we're going to be able to trade our military off better than our opponent is. So this is the point where we don't really care about the town centers. We're actually just caring about securing our gold mines and then getting a trade route set up. Now, if our opponent is also 60 trade caravans on 4 town centers and they're not on gold at all, and we're 60 trade caravans on 2 town centers, I think arguably we can probably push back. But if we're 60 trade caravans on 2 TCs and our opponent is say 20 or 30 trade caravans while mining the rest of the gold mines on the map, then we don't have enough military population to fight against them because they've got an extra 30 military population with our trade routes being out of hand. So yeah. But this is... I still think that Kavoth is almost okay here. He just needs to get out the Heliopolis. He just needs to get out the Hammer Dryads. And he needs to get rid of the cavalry in his army. And there we go. We'll see Lord Midas coming through, or King Midas coming through. Unfortunately, I don't believe... Yeah, he's got 26.4 divine damage. And look at him absolutely dominate these siege weapons. Now, obviously, the siege weapon has got low hack armor anyways, but he's an absolute beast to help with this while the archers do everything else. So we'll see if Kavoth can actually do anything now. I don't actually remember what the end of this game is, but Ben does look like he is in a really nice position. He's got full population. You can see that he does struggle. You do struggle a little bit as Isis getting to full pop here. So as long as you keep fighting, you're good to go. Another option is once you get yourself the Dryads out is to chuck, and you're out of gold, you chuck 20 villages onto Favor and you shoot up for 350 population for Lightning Storm. You use that Lightning Storm plus 210 pop of army to break out of your base, and you grab yourself the town center back as an option, but that's quite a ways away. Even with 21 villages and the 10 pigs, you can see troubles are brewing. It takes a while for him to get to this Favor. And question is, how many cows? He's got himself enough herdables here, and you can definitely see that we did not need to keep any goats around, as you've got plenty of cows and pigs, regardless. I think if you have 1 village center and 1 town center, or sorry, 2 town centers, you get 3, you get 6, you get 7, and then you get yourself that again in the Mythic Age. So in terms of pigs and cows, so you're perfectly fine. You do not need to keep your goats alive in the Classic Age. Stay up at eating, eat them, make sure you eat them. Don't wait on it, it's fine. Okay, so moving forward, a couple more units falling. And we got fortified town, fortified advanced fortifications, Titans, and all the other good stuff coming in for Ben to secure his win. But you can maybe you can kind of understand that the way that Kavoth played this allowed Ben to take a little bit more of the map, to get a little bit more of his timing to hurt, and Kavoth just wasn't able to well, he wasn't able to mitigate the damage basically, and I think he got a lot of damage in. And Midas charging in like this, we don't really need Midas to be attacking anything. In fact, he's very expensive, so you might want to keep him actually in the army and sitting around the Archer Ball to be a bit of a tank if the army actually comes in, but mostly just to be dealing with siege. As now you can see the war elephants coming through. Worst case scenario here is we can start making Prodromus, but the actual answer to elephants is Medusa. So just build Medusa, as we are seeing Kavoth going for that, but at 230 pop now against 280 pop, it's kind of close. I mean, take a look at the villager population. You've got 57 donkey caravans, 78 units there. You got 24 camel caravans. See, this is the big difference. It's just that Ben has got gold mines and Kavoth doesn't. And I think, arguably speaking here, if Kavoth had a gold mine right now, I think he would be kind of fine. He's got so much gold income actually that maybe he doesn't even need to have the donkey caravans on this amount. He could trim this down to like 30 maybe, get rid of half of them, and maybe he's fine. But he is worried about the Titan. He's going to try and get his Titan out, but I think he's going to start, if he loses a talent center here on anything, he's going to have some troubles. But yeah. And these Amazon archers are very, very powerful, I think. You only get 10 of them, but it's well worth it to have 10 of them out. This technology here, I've been hearing people say that it's not worth it to grab the tech, but you can see that Kavoth thinks it is worth it. I think it's worth it too. You get 85 wood, 65 gold, champion Amazon Archer for free. Allows you to invest in Heliopolis instead of the Amazon Archer. And you're going to be able to get those 10 out over time. And they're obviously incredibly worth it units. You want them in your army. Most of the time you might even be building them, but still. Kavoth is just struggling for production here as well now for some reason. He does have himself his upgrades in the thing. He's getting himself the Titan Gate. I don't even think if he gets the Titan Gate out, he's going to be in an okay spot. But even looking at what's actually happening here for Ben, and I think this is telling. This is a really, really big instructive moment. Ben can't afford the fighting and staying at 280 pop. Which brings you even more of that knowledge. You go, okay, if this is the case with ISIS, and they can't afford to keep pumping out up to 280 pop, unless they're actually at full, I mean, he's obviously got a whole bunch of villages here not working, 34 villages not working, and he's got 30 cowboy caravans. So, I mean, if they're all working, maybe you can easily afford it, but you can see that the fighting comes and he's really struggling to get all this stuff in. So, we just need to be able to take a nice fight here as the army comes through, and these Medusa are lovely, but without the Hammer Dryads, unfortunately for Kavoth, the Camel Riders are going to be able to charge in here, and they're going to actually get some really, really good value. So Hammer Dryads first, get 4 of those, and then also the Medusa, if your opponent's making War Elephants, and then just Toxotes, Amazon Archers, Peltast, and if you really want to make Prodromus, you can make Prodromus. And of course, the real big question is, okay, Boit, you're telling me that this death ball exists and it's really strong. Why is no one doing it? Well, the reason why is because you need to actually get to the state in the game where you can enjoy this death ball. And that's the hard part. How do I get to that point in the late game? And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how you get to that point in the late game, as I have actually played against Ben. We actually played a game just recently, and I wanted to share it. I wanted to show you the thought process that goes in. So, yeah, we'll see a little bit of Titan action here. I don't want to skip over this because this is always fun, as Kavoth will get his Titan out and Ben will get his Titan out. Still seemingly close here, but was there a town center that died? There was. He did kill the town center, but he couldn't keep it down. Completely missed that. And you can see now all the units coming in. He's got all the population. And Kavoth, after all is said and done, he's not able to actually keep that pop down, which allows the ISIS to keep going. And now that the Titan is out and he's back to full gathering, life's tough. He's still getting himself the camel caravans in slowly. And we will see the Titan versus Titan fight here. You want to make sure you're attacking each other. If you get Orpheus in on a whole bunch of Amazon Archers, there's no way you ever lose a Titan fight, by the way. So Orpheus plus Amazon Archer. Now you're doing 3.3 times 5 against the Titan. And that's divine damage. It's a lot. So yeah, feel free to go in for a Titan fight always. Don't ever shy away from that. You can see that the priests here do 3.5 times 6. So you basically got that in the Amazon Archer. So you basically got the same amount of damage that your opponent has. But here, of course, Ben has done a little bit of a better job with his Titan and his army and everything else. And he's obviously got more than enough stuff here. His queue is absolutely gigantic. He's at full armory upgrades, and Kavoth doesn't have his armor upgrades either. So he's just behind in every way, shape, or form. And I think with a Titan with 6900 HP at your doorstep, losing one of your 2 town centers here as Demeter will actually result in you losing the game. Unfortunately, that's just, of course, that's the way it goes, and Kavoth does tap out. But of course, a really well played game here from Ben. And now I want to talk you through my sort of thought process here with Demeter. So let's jump in, and this one here, and I reveal my Smurf account. Oh my god, Boit is smurfing again. What a shit bloke. I barely play on this account. I play this one when this is the wrong game. I play on this account only off stream and only when I really want to test something super, super badly. So And I don't want to test it on stream and then... Anyways. Okay, so here's the build order in order to basically go for this. I think that this is effectively... You can force this in any matchup, and that includes versus Norse, which sounds wild. So anyways, the build order is you put 2 villagers onto gold super early, and you put 2 villagers onto onto food, and then you actually start putting 2 villagers over onto one villager onto wood, right at the start, and that allows you maybe 2 villagers actually. Anyways, the idea is we need to get 2 villagers onto gold super early to get ourselves our temple up as fast as possible, which allows us to get the favor in to get ourselves Pan's Pioneers, such that we can then get ourselves a very fast village center with a account. That's literally all we want. Happy days. So I will put this villager over onto wood, and then we go up to 6 villagers onto food, and then we go over onto wood to get 4, and then we put the rest over onto gold, and we advance. It's a very, very, very stock standard build order here for Demeter. I don't believe there are any real ways to stop this. The only trick here is that if we have to bail on this, we should bail. So if our opponent does a cheese, just get watchtowers. It's fine. Just get watchtowers, and then we can go heroic age. And that takes us into a slightly different game state, but is just as winnable as what I'm going to show you here. So, because the reason why it's winnable is because our opponent went for a cheese, they hurt their economy. We just say, great, no worries. You hurt your economy. I'll get watchtowers from all those resources. Then I'll go heroic age, and then you have to somehow deal with a Icarus raiding you. And I'll talk about the extra part. Well, we're not going to face that here, but the extra part about what happens with that is if you're raiding your opponent with Icarus, it forces them to actually go into their main base and farm. At which case, we can actually get some value out of Wither. Wither is a fairly low value god power. Funnily enough, I've actually found a very nice use for it in this game. But it's a fairly low usage, fairly low value god power. But if you can get value out of it in the right spot, it becomes actually quite high value for a... Unfortunately, my Auroch dies over here. It becomes quite a high value god power if you can actually get value out of it. Now, it's not good versus Isis on the fact that they've got monuments protecting it. But the actual use case for Wither is simple. You want to force your opponent to farm, and you want to kill their farms. Very, very simple idea. If you compare this god power over to, say, a Bolt, oftentimes Bolt is killing off, say, a Valkyrie or something like that, which is going to be something like 300 resources, 400 resources of damage. If I can kill off, say, 6 farms, 7 farms, 8 farms with a Wither, which is possible on if they put 12 farms around one town center, it is possible. But if I can get off 6 farms worth of value with a Wither nice and early in the game, that's super strong. So look to do that against anyone if you want. Anyways, I should flip this around. So we're going to go obviously through Pan here, and you can see I got 2 villagers on food. I got 4 on wood. I got my villagers over here on gold, and I'm going to be jumping to get myself an Orpheus because I saw this relic. Wuhao Bow of Huang Di. Actually, no, I think I skipped that. No, I didn't. Okay. I'm getting confused with games. Wuhao Bow of Huang Di. Obviously, I'm looking at this going, knowing what I know about the Demeter Death Ball, if I can get myself a boost to my archers, it's a boost to my death ball. It's a really strong Anvil of Fires to Harmonious Necklace over on the left side of the map, but I do miss those, unfortunately, so whatever. Harmonious Necklace would be really nice, but it's fine. This one here, Demeter's Throne. You want to get Demeter's Throne because it's for Demeter. It's her throne. Anyways, as you can see, I hit the classical age, ready to drop myself Pan's Pioneers and get myself the village center, but Ben drops the Plague of Serpents in my main base, which is going to be a little bit of idle time. I make a slight misplay here. What you want to do versus Plague of Serpents, if you're actually good at the game, unlike me, is grab 5 villagers and shift click all the serpents that come out, and the other ones put onto passive stance and just grab resources. Now, he doesn't see my village center because I see the obelisk here. I'm not going to show you my village center. I wanted to put it in this little gap here, but around the back is fine. He doesn't see my village center. It doesn't matter if he sees it. It doesn't, but he might change his game plan if he does see the village center. But we're going to put that down and we're going to get to work. He does see that I'm not on my gold mine here, so he might have an inkling that I'm up to no good. Anyways, we get our Lucaon, and you'll see that this guy here, probably we can just chuck him onto the Auroch for now, and we can come over here and defend ourselves. And he has to get out of here with the Anubite. Does he see the village center? Wow, he scouted everything but that one square. So that's awesome for us. If he doesn't see that, that's fantastic. But here's the point. We want to go village center here because our entire goal as Demeter versus Isis is to get past the power spike of Isis. So we're actually going for, generally speaking, like, let me take a step back. Generally speaking, the village center, the whole goal of what a village center is actually to do some type of timing attack. You'll see this with Soup's build order, where he plays set and he puts a village center down and he puts all of his villagers onto that town center to be dumping into there to get himself food, wood, and gold, all empowered by the ferret. The goal of this is that at a certain timing in the game, we just have more stuff than someone who goes for a regular town center, and we can punish them in that moment. But with Demeter, the goal actually is to go for a defensive timing in which we've got more resources in that moment than, say, if we'd gone for a regular second town center. Now, it's not exactly the case with Demeter because you get 2 Lucaon out on this thing. I think it is, though, because it's just too much risk to go for those Lucaon and expect them to pay themselves off. If they don't pay themselves off by your opponent poking them, then you're in a nightmare situation. Whereas here, all my villagers have grabbed the town center, they're back onto work. The village center built quicker because it's next to the gold mine. So they're back onto work. It's a cheaper town center. And we're going to actually be able to chase our opponent to the heroic age and start looking to defend. Now, for the moment here, Ben, he still hasn't seen our town center, so this is really, really good for us. But I know that he's going town center. I haven't seen him attack me with spearmen, which is different from the last game. But let's say he does attack me with spearmen. What's he going to attack? Of course, at the backside here, my villagers gathering the chickens are liable to get attacked. But I can pull them back over onto the herdables. It's fine. Like I said, these are for gathering. We want to do that. And I'm looking now to basically throw my stables down as I'm expecting to see a heroic age. I've scouted with my Pegasus. He's over here for the time being. Don't ask me why. But I scouted with my Pegasus. I saw no barracks. I saw no spearmen. I'm actually going to look for a little bit of damage over onto this side. This is maybe a little bit on the late side to get this guy out. I didn't really consider this, but if I get my Ilaus out super early with an Orpheus after I get the town center up, then I can be the one putting some nice pressure on, and I can push off, say, this food situation or this gold mine or anything like that. So I'm a little bit late on this. I get the damage done, and at this point, I would argue I'm actually in the wrong spot with these guys. I should be here attacking from around 6 minutes in, and then I should be in my base defending at about 8 minutes when he hits the heroic age, because he can click Ancestors and have a myth unit in my main base. But anyways, neither here nor there. I get a tiny little bit of damage on to the Pharaoh. Don't actually get anything done with it. So at this point, I would argue that Ben is in the best possible position he could be in this game. I haven't done any damage to his economy. I haven't managed anything. In fact, he's hurting my economy here. He does get a Vil pick. Happy days. And I will dive into my talent center and let my talent centers actually finally kill off the Scorpion men here. And we're good to go. And I can get back to work. So that was hurt. That hurt. But we're still good. As the next worry here is, okay, what is the Isis going to do? Either it's going to be a fast mythic or it's going to be heroic age all-in. Either way, our reaction is actually the same here, in my opinion. The reaction should be, we need to start securing this gold mine. This is literally all I care about here. I just need to get over here, and I need to get a fortress down, and I need to defend it. How do I do that safely? Well, I got to get myself answers to what my opponent's doing. Is he going to be building spearmen? If he's building spearmen, I need to make archers. Is he going to be building camel riders? If he's going to be building those, I need to build prodromus. Now, I scouted with my Pegasus, and I saw that he wasn't building spearmen, and I also did manage to spot the camel riders at some point here. But yeah, I don't see any barracks anywhere. Of course, my scouting's not amazing, and he could surprise me with barracks. If he does surprise me with barracks, I have an amazing answer for the barracks units with the Sylvan Hammer Dryad, which I immediately upgrade. As you can see now, this guy is doing 150 Pierce, 40 Divine. So he is amazing. I see the Camel Riders over here. I go, great. I am making the right call, and I can go over and defend this. Unfortunately for me, the Age of Mythology gods decide to put my Prodromus into a little bit of a choke point there. Not happy. Okay, so now Arlaus comes out. My idea here is maybe I can push my opponent back into his base off of Hunt. Maybe I can attack his gold mine. Maybe I can look for a Wither at this point to get a little bit of damage done onto him, but that's maybe like just a scouting thing, just trying to see am I facing a fast mythic or not. But either way, if I'm facing a fast mythic, regardless, we come up onto this side. If he goes fast mythic, the Prodromus are an amazing answer versus the fast mythic. What's he going to build? Chariot Archer? These guys deal with it. Camel Rider? These guys deal with it. Elephant? These guys deal with it. So I'm actually super happy to see a fast mythic here, if that ends up being what it is. And on top of this, Ben went for a fast second town center. Look at my villager pop. Of course, I do have a couple of Lacan here, so these things are making up 6. I'm equal on villagers with him, and I'm Greek, so that's me in front, right? That's just how it works. So no worries. My military is equal. He's pumping units. So I bring this back to why are we bothering trying to min-max and trying to get ridiculously far in front of our opponents villager-wise by going for a second town center that's super risky and slows us down when we can stay equal with our opponent and then we can just play defense and we're good to go. This is the idea. He's going to charge in and attack me. He's got Ancestors. I don't care. I have Orpheus. He drops this down. I've also got my my Hammer Dryad over here, which does manage to get a little bit of damage off over there before we pull it back, unfortunately for us. And we've now also got our own god powers here we can use to defend here. I don't particularly want to use Arcadian Meadow just yet, as might not be the best idea. And I do this little trick where I click onto the siege tower with the communal hearth, which will convert the siege tower, and then I can steal the other one. He's not able to kill off the communal hearth without siege, so you just need to focus that down. And we're good to go as we pick off all of his units and defend this all in. Of course, I've taken damage here, but I didn't really lose any military. As you can see, I'm pushing way in front on military. So that's fine for me to have some idle time. This is what defense is about. We're trading military value for income. He's trading his military for income. I'm trading my... he's getting more income than I am. I'm getting more military than he is, so we're basically equal at the end of it. So we defend. We get some units back. Happy days. And we're good. We got our gold mines secured. We got our main base secured. And the next move is basically to sneak onto this gold mine. Sneak onto this gold mine, whatever. I don't care. We don't really need a town center. That's not, I don't care about this. It's cheap. It's actually free basically to grab the town center, but I don't care about it. What I care about is getting this position. So I'm going to wander over here and drop this down. I make a big mistake here. I should be over onto this spot, helping my villagers grab this position, or at least being prepared to go left or right here. It's not the biggest of deals, even if I do get hit. As I said, I am just trying not to be too far behind. So he does come in and he attacks me with the Chariot Archers. I have to drop myself Arcadian Meadow here, which I don't want to do. The main usage for Arcadian Meadow, in my opinion, in this matchup is actually to help slow down the... whatchamacallit, what's it called? Help slow down the meteor timing. But anyways, I come over onto this side. So while I got hit, I hit him as he's also sneaking his gold mine. We both know that this is what's important. So I get some kills. He gets some kills. He gets a god power out. And his Chariot Archers are out of position. So I will be able to take those down with my Prodromus, which move at a whole 1 speed faster than them. As I've said a million times over, Chariot Archers aren't a raiding unit. You don't want to raid with this unit because you lose them all. So while he picked off a couple of villages, I picked off a whole bunch of military. So this gets me even further in front. Or not even in front, just gets me some revenge fire and keeps me nice in this game. Okay, so now we got the farms coming through. You'll note that my main game plan here is to get to an Archibald, but I'm not doing that as my Hammer Dryad gets some more damage off, as is going to be consistently the case. This is an incredibly consistent unit and very, very tough to play around. And look at this. He is attacking it, which is smart. Unfortunately, I don't get to show off the trick there, but I will get more Hammer Dryads out. You note that I haven't been building them here. in this game. Mostly the reason for it is because of the Chariot Archer. But if he was making Spearmen, I would without question be getting myself a huge amount, or not huge. I'm getting myself at least 4 Hammer Dryads out. Building more than that is almost overkill. But I've always got one. These are always good. They're really, really strong. Keep building them. Don't not build them. We'll show you some tricks a little bit later with them, but and why they're so good. But we need to get our stables in, and if our opponent is only going to be building Migdol units, we can basically get away with only building Prodromus and Feltast. One of the really nice things, especially on this type of map with low gold, is that if I'm going for Prodromus and Peltas, and my opponent's going for Camel Rider and Chariot Archer, they're spending more gold than we are. So that means they're going to chew through their gold mine a little bit faster, and that's obviously quite good for us. All right, so he's now being very much aware of the quite obvious Sylvan Hammer Dryad here. Now, at this moment, I cannot quite take this fight, and I'm slowly losing some units, unfortunately, here. My Lakawan can come in there, an amazing unit, and here comes the other Sylvan Hammer Dryad. We got 2. And this guy here, I want her to sit right on this spot. Now, if he's going to target it down, it's fine. 66% Pierce armor. She tags for days. And that allows me to charge forward, as I'm basically just trying to build up an army here that can actually get in and deal with this, as we get one little bit of damage with our tree there, and now we can charge forward. And here is the alternate use for our Wither God Power. And this is actually really, really strong. This is an incredible usage of Wither. You can see he's trying to shoot and scoot. If I didn't have Wither there, he would be able to get away with a lot more damage off, and I get a huge trade here and win what otherwise would have probably been somewhat equal of a fight. I managed to do a ton of damage. So this Wither usage here is going to always be useful if you're going to be building any type of cavalry unit. Anyways. So I get out of that, happy days, and now we're going to come over with our Sylvan Hammer Dryads to try and get some funky value over here. And as you can see, I don't know, like Ben definitely sees the Hammer Dryads here. We just hanging out underneath the Migdol. They're a little bit out of range, unfortunately. But they pop and pick off the Chariot Archer down to nearly dead. And we're going to come over here, and we can hide underneath the Migdol stronghold. If he doesn't notice it, he's in a tough time. And look at this. Hammer Dryad over here. Hammer Dryad over here. What are you going to do? You got to attack both of them, my dude. This one protects this one. This one pops. All your villagers die. I said all your villagers die. All your villagers die? Nope. All right, now we can move our other Hammer Dryad over here. And if they want to come over here and deal with this Hammer Dryad, then all your villagers die. And there we go. There they do die. So, yeah. Huge amount of damage there, and has been doing... How much damage have they actually both got? Already up to 2,800. He has to run away. He can't deal with this. He's got to send priests actually over to deal with this. So that's really good. Can't just ignore it. I keep taking these fights, which I do actually think has been a mistake here. After I got that damage here, I probably should have just tried to pull back and then go Mythic Age. I don't need to win here, but I felt like I was quite far in front, which actually is a mistake. I'm not far in front here. You might not realize it because my score looks so good, but I'm behind on military. I'm in front on villages, but I'm behind on military, and taking these fights is good for him. So we don't need to charge in and get damage. We just need to stay defense and get to the Mythic Age. There's no need for me to win. Like I said, I win the late game. And I win the late game versus anyone with this composition. So I'm still working it out myself, but, you know, I'll get there. It's fine. But, yeah. Fortress up and trade route. Gold is always important. And we can start thinking about a Mythic Age here. So, yeah, because we got more economy and all that other good stuff, we should be able to get to the Mythic Age at roughly a similar time to our opponent at this moment. So, there's no problems with us just pulling back inside here and playing defense and all that other good stuff. Again, you can see me trying to charge in and deal with this, but I'm just not going to be able to get onto these Chariot Archers. And I know I win the fight, but he's got the Migdol to run back to, and that's perfectly safe for him. As he does decide to come back over onto this side, I see the villagers again. I'm like, let me kill them. Anyways. I don't actually know if... Is this tree going to hit them? Funnily enough, you can actually move the Dryad. Oh, he's not going to get them. Unfortunate. You can actually move the Dryad and keep it idle if you push it correctly, but anyways. Okay, so at this point, I think I finally realized, all right, what am I doing here? This is really stupid. Let me get to the Mythic Age. I'm going to pull back and we're just going to play defense inside of our main base. If he wants to keep on poking me, it's fine. Because I can actually deal with this with the Peltast and things like that. But yeah, off to the Mythic Age is my current thought, and you can see me pre-queue it. And the gold and food numbers will be coming in quickly. I don't mind. Let's set up with this guy. I see another opportunity here to use my Wither, because he comes nice and far forward. I get forward, and there goes the Wither, and all these units drop down to 3.8 speed, which allows the Prodromus to come in and get a bunch of damage done. 100 favor for the worst god power in the game. I shouldn't have cast that. That was stupid. That was stupid. Just sit back here and go Mythic Age, please. To some degree, trading here is actually fine for you as Demeter. To some degree. But that's not a good trade. 100 favor is 1,000 resources. Could have been spent on the more premium unit, the Medusa, coming up, as well as maybe a more premium God Power, Communal Hearth, or more Dryads. So yeah, not the best idea. But again, against these Chariot Archers, you can't build Dryads, not that good. So Medusa are your option and just getting more units in. But now I do manage to get my Hera in, and there's no real threat. So yeah, the other thing is saving that favor for Arcadian Meadow against the Meteor to buy yourself some time to rebuild your units is so good. Anyways, he is going to attempt to try and break through me. I have all the Peltasts here. 12 Peltasts don't really beat this amount of Chariot Archers, but it's enough to hold on. And all I need to do is hold here. Potentially also getting Watchtowers in right now is not having them in is a mistake, I'd say. But anyways, we're good to go. We've defended everything, and I'm like, at this point, I basically can relax. If I'm going Mythic Age before my opponent hits Mythic Age, now all of a sudden I get Lightning Storm, which can deal with my opponent's Meteor. And it's a trade. We're good. We're happy. That's really all you're super worried about, right? Is can I actually trade with a Meteor? And in this case, the answer is a resounding yes. And I just have to get more military buildings up, which I will slowly start going to. We got 10, and we got our upgrades coming in. I can keep putting these up as I feel like it. And you can see he's able to maintain full population, and I can't really push back, which is fine because we're going to have a Mythic Age, but this is kind of natural. Until you get to the Mythic Age, this is kind of what you can expect here. He keeps on sending the Siege Towers in to block my Peltast. You do have to be very good with the Peltast. If you can't use Peltast here, like me, I apparently misclicked. I don't recall misclicking, but apparently I misclicked. I'm going to say user error and not the game's fault, but you never know in these days, in this day and age. But anyways, error comes through, and I'm more than happy to drop Lightning Storm onto this. He can run. This gives me time to get myself things like Champion Cav, Champion Archers. I can start working towards my Amazon Archers. I can get this tech. I get all of my pigs and cows in now. As you can see, I was eating all my goats. I got 4 pigs, and I've got myself 8 cows. Or 7 cows, excuse me. 7 cows. So more than enough to give my full 10% boost. And on top of this, I got the Communal Hearth in the main base. So these villagers are working overtime on the favor, which is nice, as well as all my villagers are enjoying the food situation there too. Anyways. So now the walls come up and we get ourselves our gold all sorted out. And of course you might say here, Boit, everything you're saying sounds well and good, but isn't this really hard to do? And I say to you, yeah, I think it is. I think it is. And yeah, maybe it's hard to do, but things being hard to do doesn't change the fact that they're good, right? It doesn't change the fact that if you do something and it's good, you should do it regardless of how hard it is, right? Like this is the whole thing with RTS, and if something's easy and it's really strong, then that's kind of a problem. If something's hard to do and it's really strong, is it also a problem? It's equally a problem in my opinion. Anyways, this is the thought, and you can see here my trees will always get value. You're not going to stop my trees getting valued. No matter how good you are, this is a top 100 player in the world, maybe even top 50, maybe even top 20 player in the world. He literally just beat the best player in the world with his ices, right? So, and he's not able to stop the hammer drive from getting value, and it's 400 resources of value, 400 damage with the value there. But still, this unit is always gonna get value. It's always worth building. Super, super strong. And at this moment, I'm almost regret not having more, but my opponent is building chariot archers, of which this guy doesn't get value against. So that's what I'm trying to feed you. That's what I'm trying to make you understand with Demeter and where you want to build what with. So with Demeter, you build these hammer dryads to prevent your opponent building things like cab, building things like infantry. If your opponent's building archers, I am the most happy person in the entirety of the world, and you're going to see why very, very shortly. As soon as I get into Heliopolis, as soon as I get into fortified town centers with my upgrade, and I get my trade route, and I get everything sorted out, this army that I've built, and I'm just sitting back, just enjoying waiting and just dealing with everything. I'm going to kill off these chariot archers and then regroup. As soon as that all happens, there's nothing that my opponent can do to kill my army. So happy days. Of course, my trade route defended by fortresses. I should probably put one more fortress over here. Multiple fortresses are really good because I've got myself this technology here to grab, which means I can get these Amazon archers in. I sort of thought for a second in this game that it wasn't worth building, getting the tech. And I think a lot of people have made this comment that it's not worth building this tech, but it's relatively cheap compared to what the compared to what it gives you. So 500, 800 resources, 800-ish resources, right? But the Amazon Archer is over 100 resources each. So after I get myself 8 of these guys out, which I will get, it's paid for itself. And then for the rest of the game, I'm just going to be having always free Amazon Buterinos in my army. And then I don't have to worry about it, which is great. I love not worrying about things. Of course, we're also going to get ourselves the Faded Arrows tech for Toxotes here, as we've now gotten to our sort of late game Death Ball. I can start mixing in the Toxotes. Toxotes do beat a Chariot Archer if they're not microed, which should never happen at the top level. But, you know, I've got enough Peltas to pick off all the other guys. I just have to have the other units. And now that my Heliopolis is in, guess what my opponent needs to build? He needs to build Spearman, Camel Rider, Elephant. How else does he kill off a Heliopolis? Potentially the idea of making like a Petsukos here is incredibly valid and might be an answer. You make a whole bunch of Petsukos. That could be quite difficult for the Archer Ball to deal with, actually. That being said, with the Amazon Archer, you got 26 range. Combine that with Orpheus, and you can kill off those Petsukos without any risk. So I've got an answer for everything. I can't think of anything here. I can't think of a unit composition. Maybe you guys can help me out. I can't think of a unit composition here that is going to have more value than my Sylvan Hammer Dryad, Archer, Heliopolis, with a handful of either Hoplites or Champion Prodromus mixed in, depending on what my opponent's civilization is. Of course, I didn't get myself the Lord Midas here, mostly because of my gold situation is a little bit low, but Lord Midas, as he can charge back in. I've got my trees. Also, look at how sneaky I am. We can pull these guys in. Unfortunately, they don't come close to my... There you go. Now they come onto my tree and all these Camel Riders die. And now I can charge in and take out his town center. He gets the Mythic Age. Happy days for him. He's going to be able to meteor my army. And I go, all right, we have to run back. And then we have to rebuild our Death Ball. But because I have a trade route sorted, because I've got my gold mines all secured, I'm able to very much enjoy just rebuilding my army. And I can build my Death Ball up. He can go up to his full his full late game army if he wants. I don't care. Build all the elephants you like. It's not going to do anything. In fact, I do wonder, as his Phoenix is going to come in, unfortunately for the Phoenix, this is another unit that is no good versus Demeter because of the Icarus mostly, but also the Amazon Archer plus Orpheus is going to be just a ridiculously powerful unit. Can I see one of these guys with the aura? Unfortunately, no. But you can see, look, he's got 5x myth. So Anyway, now we can roll back in and we can start taking out the town center again. You can see I'm literally just focusing on one spot. I could have attacked over here. I could have gone elsewhere, but I don't need to. We just chilling on this spot. He's trying to attack me over here, but I'm fully walled up, which of course you want to be doing. And the town center will go down, and he just, I wonder, I don't think he gets back up to full pop, but I would really love to see, 265 pop is just so much. I'd love to see him attempt at this point to break through this army. I have Medusas for the war elephants. I've got Sylvan Hammer Dryads for any sort of camel riders. I've got Peltasts for the chariot archers. Build slingers if you like. Peltas beat slingers. They can't beat the Amazon archer because they've got the range up the wazoo. And maybe Peltas is actually not a terrible idea, come to think of it, but slingers. But anyways, yeah, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to get to full pop. I killed off the town center. He does resign. I didn't quite get to show off exactly what I mean in this game with the death ball, but you can see what the idea is. And you can see that I played this game not 100% perfectly either in terms of playing into that idea. But even so, you can see the Demeter still very, very good. So, yeah, to everyone saying the Demeter is F tier or whatever, I'm seeing the tier list coming out. I disagree. I think Demeter is in the very least at an A tier, if not in the S tier right now. She is incredibly strong, requires specific play styles and a lot of knowledge to play. So similar to the Egyptian gods, which are really good at the very top level and not very good at the middle level. The reason for this isn't because they are necessarily mechanically difficult to play. They are knowledge difficult to play. You need to have a lot of knowledge on what your opponents can do and what strategies you need to use to beat them. And I think that's the case for Demeter right now. So I don't really care what happens. I'm just showing you guys what I'm thinking about the god and how I think you should be playing the god. And I think this works so long as you know what you're doing in every single matchup. I think you can go village center versus everything. And yeah, that's my take on the whole kit and caboodle. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.